Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast broadcasting on your Wednesday night. It's the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series Championship race this evening. Season 7's been a good one. 16 races have been ran so far this season. We had plenty of different winners, but it is all down to this. The Freaky Fast Finale 250 at Chicagoland. Who is taking the Trophy Smack Trophy this evening? Those four drivers we got to watch out for is going to be Benjamin Nelson after winning last week at Homestead in dominant fashion. He's hoping to carry over that dominance into tonight, but he's got to be careful. He also has got to worry about Ryan Kelly, that of Larry Yingling, Douglas Newbigging, the four drivers that are left to be racing here tonight, as the two other of our top 6 drivers that made it to the championship round will not be able to continue on racing. Due to that, Joshua Kanata, he's dealing with an illness that felt like he needed to just step away and not run tonight's race. And also for tonight's race, a lot of these drivers are going to be driving with a heavy heart. Shane Tarian deciding not to race as there was an active shooter going on in Maine, and he did not feel comfortable as he had some family and friends out in that area. He did not feel comfortable racing, so he is stepping back. Our thoughts and prayers go out to that community that's dealing with the tragedy that's going on, and it's going to make tonight a little bit weird and awkward, but it is a championship race. We are going to crown a champion. We're going to miss both Shane and Josh's presence here tonight, but 4 drivers still in the hunt. 8 points is the difference between those 4 drivers. Ben Nelson's got a 3-point advantage over Ryan Kelly, 6-point advantage over that of Larry Yingling, and 8 points over Douglas Newbigging. In tonight's race, there's not a lot of points to be grabbed. We got over 21 drivers going to be showing up for tonight's race, but every point is going to matter. There's a couple of ways to get bonus points. Leading the most laps, leading the lap, and winning the race will grant you 3 bonus points, and it's going to be a good one here this evening. Once again, thank you for joining with us on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth is going to be Joshua Altus. And Josh, got to say, tonight, it feels a little weird that it's a championship race because we're used to just one race. That's the championship race. But for the WSSR, we've had to run 2 races, and it's down to points now.
Yeah, that it is, Sam, and great to be with you here tonight. Yeah, exactly like you said, it's a little bit of a different format than a lot of these leagues are used to running, kind of the general NASCAR format where it goes down to the championship 4 and a one race winner take all. So a little different format with the 2 races. I kind of like it. Benjamin Nelson getting that big win last week after dominating, and he's got a little bit of a cushion tonight, but I mean he still does not have a ton of room for error. If he slips up at all, he's got 3 very hungry guys behind him trying to take that championship.
Especially based on how qualifying ran down. Ryan Kelly, top of the board for the 3 machine. Douglas Newbigging going to be in 2nd. Noah Steele going to be in 3rd for himself as we get ourselves prepared for tonight's race. Again, it's the Freaky Fast Finale 250 for Season 7 of the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series. And tonight's race is going to be a good one as we get ourselves prepared for ourselves to look at the Colley's Moms qualifying results for tonight's race. Top of the board, going to Ryan Kelly in the 3 machine with Douglas Newbigging. Going to be in 2nd. 3rd, going to be given to Noah Steele. Benjamin Nelson falling down to 4th, but he knows how to be quick here with Chris Stitz in 5th. 6th goes to Brian Noel. Nick Crawford in 7th. 8th is Brian P. Johnson. And 9th is Brendan Colley, coming off his win last night in the Full Send Racing Series. He got some great confidence. And Cody Reed, our Talladega winner, going to be finishing off our top 10.
Starting just outside the top 10 will be, starting P11 will be Nolan Hicks. To his outside will be Zachary Hall starting 12th. Larry Yingling, Sam, rolling off 13th. He's one of our final 4 contenders here. Coming in tonight, 6 points below that championship line there, so he's going to have some work to do to try to make his way to the front. And to his outside will be Christopher Norris starting 14th. Ken Campbell will roll off 15th tonight. To his outside will be Cedric Hunter starting 16th. Brian with an I Johnson, will start 17th. Tyler Dingler will start 18th. James Heater 19th. Rounding out the top 20 will be Kyle Heath, and rounding out the field tonight, starting 21st, will be James Kaufman.
For these drivers here tonight, 21 take the grid, an 8-point difference between the 4 contenders that are running for a championship. We can't wait to give you all the coverage here tonight again on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Tonight's race in Chicagoland going to be 150 laps. There will be a competition caution either at lap 40 or before lap 40. If there's a caution flag thrown before our lap 40 mark, that will count as our competition caution. No fast repairs and 5 extra sets of tires in pit road. Those tires could be crucial here tonight, but a lot of unknowns comes into this race. There's only been 3 other times the WSSRs ran at Chicagoland, and 2 of the 3 races have had 1 or 0 cautions. We're expecting at least 1 here tonight, but the last time they ran back in season 5, 4 total cautions. So there is a chance, Josh, that we could see some yellow flags be thrown, but this series in the WSSR, when we come to 1.5 miles, it's usually on the low count if we're going to be seeing cautions.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the trends have said this year, Sam, but this race is not like any others. This is a championship race. We've got 4 guys that are in it and can win this thing. Obviously, you know, points carrying over from last week with the 2 races in a round. But, you know, if it's anything close to Kansas, Sam, which is the sister track to this racetrack in Chicagoland, we saw some pretty wild racing at Kansas, so I'm expecting another wild one tonight to crown a champion.
Tonight's race to crown a champion, to grab your Trophy Smack trophy, and to be said, you're a Season 7 champion. It's time to see, will the rookies win the championship, or could Larry Yingling, the lone veteran, get it done? As we're into the restart zone, green flag is out for the Freaky Fast finale, 250. Ryan Kelly, Douglas Newbegin, great launches, but it's Ben Nelson already putting the pressure down into turn number 1.
Yeah, you can see Benjamin Nelson is not wasting any time. Sammy's going to dive it to the bottom here and immediately slide up into the 2nd position.
As they're driving forward 3 wide back to 4th place, as they're going to be finding drivers mixing and matching on where they're going to feel the most comfortable. But up front is Ryan Kelly, Douglas Newbegin, and Ben Nelson. Those 3 drivers were the top 3 back at Homestead last week. They're trying to carry on that same momentum. They were dicing it back and forth early on in last week's race. Right now, Ryan Kelly recognizing fresh air is nice to have as he fights forward. And Ryan P. Johnson up to 4th for the 28 machine.
And Sam, if I'm any one of these championship contenders, even though it's not necessarily, you know, the first car across the line, I'm thinking this is probably a must-win scenario. I mean, you know, Benjamin Nelson, he's been strong all season. He's going to run up front, barring some kind of incident or unforeseen accident. So if I'm Ryan Kelly, I just want to get out here, lead, try to, you know, control the race as long as I can, and maybe hope Benjamin Nelson makes a mistake at some point.
Top 3 drivers going to be our 3 champions. The 4th, Larry Yingling, back in 11th position. Nowhere really to advance forward just yet. As you see Nick Crawford, Cody Reed. There's going to be seeing the 67 of Larry Yingling, the lone veteran who made it to the championship round. We had 5 other rookies that showed up for this season, tried their attempt to get a championship, and it's looking like the rookies are in the better place to win a championship with a 3-time champ trying to aim for number 4. That's at 67, advances forward for another position up to cracking the top 10.
Yeah, Larry, you know, he's a proven champion, so I would absolutely not count Larry out until this thing is over. I know, you know, it looks like he's in a really tough position right here, but I mean, he's had the experience. He's been in this position before, and you know, who knows? Maybe some nerves could possibly get the best of some of these rookies here. But Larry Yingling, you know, he's been there and done it, Sam. So don't count him out till it's over.
Trying to get by Cody Reed. Cody Reed wasn't originally scheduling the race here tonight, but as the session got closer and closer, the 52 decided, hey, I'll give it a chance, as he's now putting a little bit of pressure on the outside, trying to get out of the way of the 67, as Collie dives it down low, the 1 machine trying to move forward as Larry's now up to 9th place. As drivers up front start to feel a little bit more pressure as Brian P. Johnson, the 28, working that middle groove as he's getting by Douglas Newbegin, or at least giving an attempt. And also other drivers joining the fray. You got Chris Stitz and Brian Noel trying to join in our top 5.
Yeah, Brian P. Johnson was one of those drivers with Zach Hall at Richmond, Sam, that I was really impressed with his performance. I know he's had not the best of luck this year, but he's still a strong competitor. He's got that Trophy Smack sponsor on his car. You know, wants to have one final good run for him. And you know, you want to be careful around the championship contenders, but at the same time, you're out here to win. and I know Brian P. Johnson would love to close the season out with a win tonight.
Douglas Newbiging made his way into the championship round with consistency, but a little bit of scare the 7 can have at times. At moments, I would say Douglas Newbiging probably has the most scary looking machine when he's out on track. The looseness always striking the 7 or the 77. And right now, the teammates from Lucky Duck trying to advance forward. The 77 very aggressive on that entry, had to back off and losing all that time and momentum, hurting onto the backstretch.
Yeah, he does look a little unstable there. But going back to Douglas Newbiging, Sam, to your point, he is one of those guys that he loves to drive the car right on the edge. And I mean, I'll give him credit. He makes it work more times than not, where he just tends to hang that back end out and just absolutely drive off the right rear of the car. And he's had success with it, but we've also seen him get in trouble too.
Noah Steele in the 88 getting pressured by Larry Yingling, who's now up to 8th place, putting the pressure for 7th. We haven't seen Noah Steele out on track in a while. It's always good to see Noah back out there. He was running on Monday nights. Took a little bit of a break and also mounting the pressure and a little bit of a pinch going on between the 67 and the 88. But Larry makes the pass, makes the advancement. And Noah Steele just has to hope that he doesn't get any more pressured as Nick Crawford dives it down low on that 88 machine.
Yeah, really impressed with Larry Yingling here early, Sam. He's making his way forward, but you got to wonder with these, these daytime conditions, the track's probably a little slick. How much tires is he using up trying to get by these guys where, the front runners going for the championship here, they've got a little bit more, luxury to save their stuff a little bit. So just curious how hard Larry's pushing and if that's going to affect him a little later in the run.
Trying to catch up to our top 6 that are all clustered with one another. And I mean, you got to give credit to Larry. He's moved up 6 positions, but yeah, like you said, how much of his equipment is he using up? But can he be afforded to use up his equipment? You've got the competition caution at the end of lap 40, so you might as well use up your equipment knowing that you're going to get reset at some point. So this is a good time to get that lesson in and learn how fast and how aggressive can I push this car before I really went over that limit.
No, you're exactly right, Sam. And we've talked about it quite a bit this season. Is with the competition caution in place. I mean, drivers know they're going to get one reset at some point. So, you can really do whatever you want here. You can save your stuff and ride and see what the tire wear is like. You can push it and see how far you can push it without, to what point you're burning your stuff up. So it's a really good opportunity to test your stuff out and see what you got.
Shocking to see running back in 14th, 15th position. Christopher Norris, Zach Hall, drivers that have been inside of the top 10 for majority of the season. Struggling, it looks like, here tonight, or maybe taking it easy. Not wanting to get too much into the mix of things up front and having their chance to just settle in is the 38 and the 32. Yeah, this is a battle for 14th position on track at this current time, and already starting to see the field starting to spread out from one another. We are currently 13 laps in the book, now make it start lap 14, and it's Ryan Kelly still leading the way as Zach Hall throws it down low for a pass.
Yeah, going back to Zach Hall, we've seen him be one of the really just fast guys at saving this stuff and doing a really good job with that. And I feel like he's just been one of those guys where the cautions have just not played into his favor, where he needed a long run and a caution came out, or maybe he chose to push it and then a caution didn't come out. So just seems like the luck hasn't been on the 32 side this year, and I know he definitely wants to get a win tonight.
Definitely would love it, as we now set our sights back for the battling going on for 16th, 17th, and 18th place, as we have Ken Campbell, Cedric Hunter, and Kyle Heath in 31. Kyle Heath joined into the series just 4 races ago. It's been a pleasure to see this 31 out there on track. He's been a fun character for everyone out in the field when he's out there. Hasn't had the finishes that he's wanted, but he's shown strength. Is that of Kyle Heath, but Heath and Cedric Hunter both have had their moments of almost contact the last couple of weeks, and they are close once again as the 13 and the 31 try to make their way past Ken Campbell.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kyle Heath doing a good job running with these guys, even though it's a little further down the running order right now. But I mean, he's got two guys in front of him that I would classify as studs out there, Sam, with Ken Campbell and Cedric Hunter. I mean, both really talented drivers out there. So the fact that he's hanging right with them right now, he's doing a good job.
Doing a great job at this moment, and Tyler Dangler just trying to stay attached. Able to see this group advance forward as they're at the tail end of this pack. There's also two other drivers still further back from this crew, that being James Kaufman in the 25. Just waiting and taking it easy, and a big little bit of a slight drift on the exit of the corner. But Chicagoland, a track that really is so unique from a lot of other mile and a halves. I know we said sister track to Kansas, but both of those tracks also have their own unique styles. As we see the 08 of Brian Johnson, that's Brian with an I, out there in the 08 Texas Speed Machine. He's running back in 21st position, but still in the lead lap, which is going to be crucial when we get to the end of lap 40 for that competition caution.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point, like we said, just feeling out your car, seeing what works best. But as we go back up front here, it's Ryan Kelly leading the way so far, Sam, and he's doing what he's got to do so far. I know we're really early into this thing; we still got plenty of time to go. But I mean, let me ask you, how frustrating do you think it is for Ryan Kelly to be up here leading, and then he looks in his mirror and he sees the man that he's got to beat by at least a couple spots tonight?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a frustrating spot to be in, but even if Ryan Kelly decides to finish where he's at now and gets all the bonus points, that's leading a lap, leading the most laps, and winning, Ryan Kelly actually would beat out Benjamin Nelson by 1 point. So Nelson at this position needs to force the issue, lead at least 1 lap, so that puts an equalizer between the 3 and the 79, just in case Kelly grabs the most laps led and the win.
That's a great thing to note, Sam. And I feel like if you're Ryan Kelly, then that's exactly his mission. He just wants to stay up front all night, lead all the laps he possibly can, keep Benjamin Nelson behind him. And I mean, the best chance to try to win this championship is just to go out and win this race tonight, and then everything else will take care of itself.
That he's hoping for. If we look at past trends, like I said, we've ran it at this track 3 times in the past for the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series. Back in Season 1, the pole sitter did not win the race. It actually was the driver that led the most laps that won the race, of Tyler Conroy. Then in Season 3, no cautions were thrown during that race, as there were no stage yellows at that time in Season 3. But it was Larry Yingling who got the pole and won the race, but didn't lead the most laps. It actually went to Brian with Y. Johnson, who got that most laps led over half of the race. And some of these other drivers, they might be in a similar spot of, well, maybe we don't get the pole, but if we lead the most laps, that's been the trend of getting into victory lane these last 2 times, because that also happened in Season 5 for the driver that got the pole, got the win, and most laps led went to Justin Lewis. So for Ryan Kelly, he's trying to beat the trends of get the pole, lead the most laps, and win. But he's got to be careful of watching this crew, as Kelly, he's moving away as Larry Yingling cruises into 6, as they're going to slot into 3 wide behind this 67 machine.
Yeah, the 77 there, Brian Noel got a little piece of the wall right there, Sam. So this has been a fun little pat to watch these last couple laps. These guys are getting after it, and you can see where the front 6 have really started scooting away, really the top 5, and Larry Yingling's kind of leading the charge here at this second group.
Doesn't have a lick of the draft just yet, but he's trying to close in. Brian Noel, Nick Crawford, as well as Cody Reed in the mixture here. Well, Nick's also in the sense of that middle groove and progressive banking and multi-groove racing. This is exactly what we're looking for with this Gen 4 car at these mile and a halves. That maybe we've been missing at other courses of multi-groove racing that allows these drivers to stay this side by side 24 laps into the race.
Oh, absolutely. And what's great is as the tires really starting to wear, that's when it gets fun, and you see drivers start searching around for grip and just running those multi-lanes. I mean, you really got 3 different lanes between the bottom, the middle, and the top that you can run here. And, man, almost 3 wide there, Sam. These guys are not resting on their laurels at the moment. They're out here battling.
They are battling for every position, and for these drivers, this is not about points or a championship. It's all about honor of getting the best finish you can. Finish out Season 7 on the best foot and get yourself prepared for Season 8 that's going to happen in a few months. These drivers recognize, hey, it's going to be a pretty quick swing, so might as well get ourselves prepared by the best finish at Chicagoland, as the field getting real squeezed right there with Nick Crawford and Brian Noel. Noel drifts up to the wall, and Crawford has nose.
Yeah, Nick Crawford got Brian Noel a really big break right there. I can tell the 77 was just trying to slide up in front of him, but he definitely wasn't quite clear, and Nick Crawford definitely cut him a break right there.
And with the loss of momentum, it's staying low and having to back off. Going to lose to Nick Crawford on positioning. Cody Reed putting the pressure on the back rear end of the 74. The rest of the field closing in quickly as we're starting to see that swing of the pendulum of drivers that were saving their tires now advancing forward as the middle of the pack is getting to that racing point. Everyone up front still pretty single filed out, but this is the best racing on track. Is the battling going on just inside of our top 10?
Oh yeah, these guys, you can really see them, everyone utilizing a different groove there. See them running almost 3 wide and just looking for space, looking for some clean air on the nose right there. And oh, the 77 in the wall again. Sam continues to struggle.
Ryan Noel, those tires are fading away, and the wall is becoming his friend each and every lap as we hop on board with the 13 machine. Cedric Hunter is getting a good shot at what's going on in front of him. Also still attached to Ken Campbell. These two just cannot find a way to get away from one another. But what's interesting, Cedric Hunter is still running that inside groove. Everyone else progressed to the middle or third lane through 1 and 2 there.
Yeah, it looks to me, Sam, that the top groove is starting to become dominant more on the longer run here, but I mean, yeah, Cedric Hunter, he's been committed to this bottom, so we'll have to keep an eye on it, but I mean, only about 10 more laps, Sam, until we're going to get the competition yellow at this point.
With these drivers recognizing every position could be crucial. There's been a few drivers that able to gain positions. Others have actually lost more than what they were hoping to. The 88 Noah Steele on the outside of that blue and black machine. He's been the biggest loser so far. Now 9, now making 10 positions from where he started. As everyone else moving forward, James Heater sneaking his way through the middle of Ken Campbell and Cedric Hunter, but a big wiggle for that 31 as James Heater starting to just settle in as those little pods of drivers that we saw attached to one another now clustering up here late in the stage with 10 laps to go. Ryan Kelly still leading the way up front, but the middle of the pack, oh, contact, oh, more drivers involved. Brian Noel and also Noah Steele with some hard blows. And that's going to be our first caution of the day and our competition yellow of tonight's race.
Yeah, first caution out, Sam, and I can't say I'm too surprised. That racing was really heating up there in the middle of the pack, and I believe that 15 of Ken Campbell got a piece of that as well.
As we're about to see the replay, it just looks to be drivers getting rear-ended, similar to what we saw at the beginning of the season. Bad contact, rear bumper to front bumper. Ken Campbell, that was a hard collision late, and that blew the engine of the 77, and others trying to get themselves ready as we'll take another look at this. But it just looked like a bad bump. Noah Steele to the rear bumper of the 77, who was starting to drift up. Steele got a better run, but Ken Campbell just nowhere to go for this 15 machine.
Yeah, we're going to take a look on here. We're going to ride on board with Ken Campbell. Oh, just guesses the wrong spot there. Clips him with the left front there. And yeah, Sam, to your point, it looked like the 88 just slid up and just contact was made. Got him. I'm sorry, the 77 rather. Just slid up right in front of the 88. Got turned around and just nowhere for Ken Campbell to go. Chooses the wrong spot and caution flies here.
Hard contact for all drivers, and this is going to enable everyone to come into pit road and get service done for themselves. No required damage given to the 15 or the 77, so both drivers should still be able to continue to race on, but certainly a scare for everyone there in the middle of the pack is Ryan Kelly. Dash off of pit road, the 3 keeps the lead, and again, holding back Benjamin Nelson. The 3 for Ryan Kelly has to not allow Benjamin Nelson to lead a lap, because that's a bonus point that can enable Ben to get a tiebreaker with Ryan Kelly if they were to finish 1-2, and Ryan Kelly leads the most laps. And we were looking at the tiebreaker. We were given a notification on that by the admins. If there is a tiebreaker with Benjamin Nelson for the championship, Ben would have the advantage because it goes to most wins throughout the whole entire season. Benjamin Nelson came into tonight's race with 6 wins. No one else was even close. The closest driver was Douglas Newbigging with only 2. And if Douglas was to win, that's not going to be tying in that win column. So Benjamin Nelson has the tiebreaker and has the comfort of, if I at least lead a lap, I can settle for second place, and the championship's still mine.
Yeah, and yeah, I think that's a good point, Sam. And if I'm Benjamin, I'm fairly comfortable right now because I mean, if the trends continue, like you've talked about, Sam, with this is generally a green flag look. If we're not dishing out the commentator's curse here, but if we do get some green flag racing, that's when you're really going to have to start thinking because uh, if if you're Ryan Kelly, you don't want a short pit necessarily to give Benjamin Nelson an opportunity to lead a lap. So you would think the three might run it long, but then if Nelson short pits, then he might have an opportunity to jump Kelly. So going to be an interesting to keep an eye on that as the race develops.
The cat and mouse game of who's going to be in the better position now starts to ramp up as, again, the four drivers of note that we're keeping our eyes on, Ryan Kelly, Benjamin Nelson, Douglas Newbigging, and Larry Yingling are the four drivers that are out running for the championship here tonight, as Shane Terrian as well as Joshua Kanata were not able to show up here tonight. Thoughts and prayers goes to Shane Terrian and his family and that community in Maine after tonight's tragedy. But with these drivers here tonight, getting ready for the restart, no more cop caution. This race can run green to the end. As the caution is done, green flag is out. Ryan Kelly gets the jump. Benjamin Nelson caught sleeping on that restart.
Yeah, Ryan Kelly, just absolute whole shot win right there. He's going to jump in front by 3 to 4 car lengths, Sam, and now it's Brian P. Johnson that's going to fight back for second place.
Big slide off the exit of turn 2 for Chris Ditz, but a massive save for that 17 machine as we continue to keep it straight and moving forward. The rest of the field going to be stacking side by side in the middle of the group, but up front, it's Benjamin Nelson trying to take that second position, but Brian P. Johnson not enabling that, and Larry Yingling, after all the pressure and the pushing, the back qualifying, the 67, he's in the mix in our top 5.
He sure is, Sam. I was just about to say, don't look now, but here comes old 3-time. He's going to be on the outside, and he's looking for the third position.
Now remember, Larry Yingling needs some of the most help coming into tonight's race. He needs drivers to also have some falters of Ryan Kelly and Benjamin Nelson. All that Larry needs to do is stay in front of the 7 and make sure the 6, that of the 3 in the 79, finish outside of the top 10. And Larry's got a chance for this championship as the 67 dives it down low, trying to make the pass for the lead. And Ryan Kelly has to hold back 2 very strong contenders and the favorites to win the championship.
Yeah, Larry Yingling has entered the chat, Sam. I mean, he is here. He's going to dive down to second place. He's going to try to slide up, and he's going to take that second position.
And Nelson's just going to have to try to go with the crossover move down onto the apron. That's free game. You can be down there, but it's at your own risk of driving back onto the racing surface before the entry of the corner. And Nelson, actually with a pretty good run, keeps it side by side, and they're almost going to be 3 wide for the lead. Kelly keeps the push, and a little bit of a slide for the 79. He'll have to fall back into third.
Larry Yingling will clear Benjamin Nelson now for second. He's going to set his sights on the 3 car now for the lead.
Can Larry Yingling get up there, start leading this race, as Ryan Kelly again needs to find himself leading the lap. He's already done that, lead the most laps, which is next on his list. And the final goal, win tonight's race, and the championship is going to be his unless Benjamin Nelson can lead a lap. He's got to make sure the 79 does not lead a lap. Otherwise, the championship hopes are still in the fates of other drivers, not Ryan Kelly's.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. And another thing to note, Sam, is Ryan Kelly and Larry Yingling are teammates too. So I wonder how much of a factor that's going to play as this race develops. And, you know, I know Larry's out here racing for a championship himself, but, you know, maybe it's an opportunity for Ryan Kelly to pit when he wants to, and Larry may try to stay out and hold Benjamin Nelson up so he doesn't lead a lap. So, yeah, it's just going to be fun to see how this race develops as we get in the later stages.
We've got ourselves top 5 drivers. What a storyline all of them have. 4 of the 5 are running for a championship. Brian P. Johnson, in that 28 machine trophy smack driver, is season 1 champion. Then you got Larry Yingling, who's been a 3-time champ this season, and the other drivers inside of our top 5 all searching for their first championship, and they could grab it here this evening. Also, here comes Ben down to the inside. Douglas Newbigging not trying to waste any more time. But a big shocker up to 6th and 7th. Christopher Norris and Brendan Colley, where did they come from? Their speed kind of shocking me on the fact that they're starting to close in on our top 5.
Yeah, absolutely. They were almost, down the board, almost around the 15th position earlier, Sam. So maybe they figured some things out there on the short run before the yellow there, and they're obviously applying it and starting to move forward now.
As we're starting to see the cluster of drivers 2nd back to 5th, not giving a lot of space to one another, as Brian P. Johnson going to slot down to the inside groove, trying to get a little bit more momentum on the front stretch to take 2nd place away, and will do so is the 28 machine. And now Brian P. Johnson trying to put the pressure on Ryan Kelly. Kelly's got to be careful. This 28's got some great momentum for the lead position.
Yeah, just like that, Brian P. Johnson, new contender right on Ryan Kelly's bumper. But in the same note, Sam, the 79 of Benjamin Nelson has fallen back all the way to the 4th place position. So, golly, this is the furthest we've seen him back so far, and you got to wonder if he's just trying to save some tires or if he's starting to struggle with that 79 a little bit.
Kelly trying to go with the defensive move, going down on the apron on the front stretch, but that gives an opening for Brian P. Johnson to just keep his momentum, not have to worry about scrubbing off speed, and instead runs the middle groove. And Ryan Kelly really using his tires in a defensive mode. And the drivers outside of our top 5 also giving us a good show, as we got James Heater on the outside. Middle going to be the one of Colley. We also have Cody Reed, Christopher Norris that run on Monday nights in the ISRC Truck Series. Their season has concluded after this past Monday's race. Congratulations to John Forbes on winning his championship and being the 5th different champion of that series. As Christopher Norris, Cody Reed trying their best not to make contact with Colley, who got his win last night for the Full Set Racing Series, booking his ticket to run for a championship in that of the Full Set Series on Tuesdays. That's the one having a great run on the outside lane.
Yeah, and it's just another theme that we've highlighted all season, Sam. It's just the crossover of all the different drivers across the different leads that Freaky Fast broadcast. Broadcast all these weekdays, and really cool just to see all the crossover and all the different guys representing the different leads out here running in the WSSR Cup Series.
45 laps in the book, and they are testing the wall now, see where they can find that extra little bit of momentum, speed to advance forward. And right now it's Colley and Cody Reed searching that top lane, and they've got to be careful really going that high, especially with this Gen 4 car. We've seen drivers get out of shape so easily if you're not careful, and one bad slip up could put you in a situation like we saw with Noel and Steele. That brought out our first caution of the day, of drivers just getting into one another if you're not careful.
Well, I think it's important to note, Sam, as the run goes on, these cars, they get evil. They really do. It gets really, really loose as the tires start wearing. And, I've experienced it even on the front straightaway, where you're almost falling on the wheel just to keep it going straight. And that's just on the straightaway. So then once you get in the corners and you start getting cars around you, as we got a nice little battle going on right here in the top 5. Benjamin Nelson trying to get by these guys.
Yeah, we got the battle for the lead, the battle going on for 3rd, and then the rest of the field battling for one another as they're trying 3 different lanes. Who's going to have the better momentum, as Nelson having to back off and not just run into and plow over the 67 of Larry Yingling. That's the only disadvantage of being the behind driver, working that outside lane, but finally gets to the quarter panel. And Ben Nelson might have a chance to take back 3rd as he gets the spacing, slows down Yingling. They're going to be 3 wide for 3rd place for a quick moment, but Nelson gets the spacing. The 79, it's time to take off and attack. Don't let those top 2 get too far away. And like we said before, this race could stay green if they continue on at this rate.
Yeah, 2-for-1 special there for Ben Nelson, moving up to the 3rd position there, Sam. And, a little further up front, Brian P. Johnson, he is all over Ryan Kelly for this lead right now. He has been working that bottom groove the last couple laps, but Ryan Kelly able to hold the momentum on the top side and just gets too big of a run coming off the corner. But Brian P. Johnson really working, trying to get that clean air.
Trying to work the inside lane. Can he make the slide job work? It wasn't going to be there that go around, but down onto the apron, the shortest distance around, cutting any spacing and distance to enable a better push down into turn number 1. The more that they stay side by side, the more this is going to allow Ben Nelson to get back into this fight. And Ryan Kelly defends for another round of Brian Johnson attacking.
And again, Sam, I mean, you covered it, but this is why it's so important for Ryan Kelly to maintain this lead. I mean, not only does he, seemingly need to win tonight, but he's got the lap led, and now he's really trying to lead the most laps. So he doesn't want to give up the lead and give up the potential to not be able to lead the most laps tonight.
And Brian P. Johnson got the Rocket Man Award last week at Homestead. That's putting down the fastest lap of the race. Well, currently, he is the fastest driver out on track with the fastest lap of a 30.214 second time. He put that down earlier in the race in the first 5 laps of this race starting. But with that speed, this 28 machine can get it done, still trying to get into victory lane. What a joy it would be to do so in Season 7 for Brian Johnson. And for the Trophy Smack machine, it's going to be giving out a trophy to the championship winner of this season. I mean, what a way to end off Season 7.
Yeah, that's a really cool deal they got going on with the Trophy Smack, Sam. I mean, I hadn't really heard a lot about that company before the series, and great marketing opportunity with the WSSR Cup Series. And man, I'm envious now. I want to get one of those trophies for my fantasy football season. So really cool to see Brian P. Johnson having a great run tonight with the Trophy Smack machine.
I mean, fantasy football is their original demographic. Once they've heard about sim racing and the fact that a lot of them are looking for trophies, well, WSSR was one of the better places to start pushing the fact that you could get your custom trophies from Trophy Smack. As the middle of the pack getting a little bit more chaotic, similar state to what we saw that brought out our first caution of the day. A pack very close to one another, and just hoping everyone can run similar pacing, or at least don't run over one another. And this is that cross your fingers and hope you can make it through the chaos type of a moment.
Yeah, it sure is, Sam, and to your point, we're right around that same laps into the run. We're about 25 laps here into the run, a little shy of 25 laps, and this is where that conglomerate of the pack is just running around each other, trying to pick and choose which way to go, and you got your comers and goers, and the cars are starting to handle very ill, and oh my goodness,
oh no, it's gonna be seen, and Nolan Hicks, spun around as everyone scatters as they are having their issues. The 86, right when we talk about, hey, this is around that zone, we had our first yellow into a run. Well, a bit of contact and a bit of a spin as the 86 is trying to close in and catch back up to where his position's supposed to be.
I guess it's nice to get confirmation that we know what we're talking about every now and then, Sam. So that was pretty perfect timing there, and good job to Robert, our producer, having that shot on that pack. So yeah, a little spin around, no harm, no foul, and I think we're gonna come get some 4 tires here. What do you think?
4 tires of fuel. I mean, they got 5 sets to work with coming into tonight. They've already used 1. Why not use your second? As the drivers are 1/3 done with tonight's race. The field comes into pit road, and rewatching that incident just was a simple of seeing Hicks get slightly loose and then slide up in front of the 13 of Cedric Hunter. Small tap, and away that 86 went. Luckily, no one else involved as pit road, pit stop. Who can make it out sooner? As this, we've seen in past races that pit road could be a crucial time that you can make or break or even lose a race. On exit, if you slide through your box, maybe make a slight mistake somewhere, as Brian P. Johnson trying to beat to the line, won't do so. Ryan Kelly, once again, keeping that top spot.
Absolutely, Sam. I mean, pit road is absolutely crucial. We've seen so many races be won and lost on pit road, and it goes back to qualifying tonight. Ryan Kelly doing a really good job putting it on pole position. He's got that first pit box, and he was able to take advantage and continue to hang on to the lead right here.
Holds on to the lead, and for this field, we will actually take our first commercial break with our second caution of the day. Thank you so much for joining with us for the WSSR Season 7 Championship. It's been a good one here this evening for the Freaky Fast finale. 252 cautions in the book, and we will see how many more do they need, or can we stay green to the end to crown a champion? We will be back right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series, the Season 7 Championship race at Chicagoland, the Freaky Fast Finale 250. Want to give a huge shout out to some of the sponsors right before we go green, that being Roasted Gems Coffee. Go get your coffee today. Start your day off right with quality premium coffee with Roasted Gems. Remember to use promo code WSSR for 5% off. And as well, the TrophySmack.com. Hey, get yourself a trophy, championship ring, belt, and more. Go on over to TrophySmack.com. Use promo code WSSRSmack for 10% off on all items. Back to green flag action. Ryan Kelly, Brian P. Johnson going to be the top contenders, but how are the other playoff and championship runners going to contend with Douglas Newbiggie, Larry Yingling, Benjamin Nelson trying to figure out how to get by this non-championship contender? Oh no! The one into the outside wall. Collie, hard contact. We stay green as the one gets rolling.
I thought that was about to be a lot bigger than what it turned out to be, Sam. I mean, Green and Collie did a good job of not involving anyone else in that, but oh my goodness, we saw a big slide there, a little overcorrect, and man, I don't know how we got away with that without it being bigger than what it was.
Zach Hall and many of others had to scatter to the inside lane, and Collie keeps the nose pointing straight, so we stay green as the championship contenders and former champions are all on top of one another inside of our top 5. And the rest of the field hold their breath, get settled in, because we're going to stay green for a little bit longer. Collie, over the radio, not very happy about it, but at least he knows, hey, this is the last race of the season. Maybe my luck hasn't been there. He got at least a win this season. He'll come back for season 8 with a little bit more confidence as the 7, Douglas Newbiggie, needs to fight, needs to claw. He's the driver with the most points that he needs to gain on his other championship contenders, and he's getting pressured by Ben Nelson.
Yeah, Douglas is not going to be shy here. I mean, he knows he needs to go win this race and hope some other things fall his way as well. But Ryan Kelly, Sam, really impressed with him so far. He maintained the lead off that pit road cycle, as we see Larry Yingling now looking to the outside of Douglas Newbiggie.
A little bit of pressure on the 7. Larry taking the outside dive, and inside going to be the 7 machine. And Ryan Kelly still leading the way. This is incredible to see by the 3 machine. And he's just finding himself just about, 13 laps away from crossing over to the halfway zone, and the 3 then would have the most laps led. Kelly recognizing he needs to stay up front, but he's got to be careful because Brian P. Johnson putting the moves to the inside is the 28, and the first true attempt to take the lead. Give it to the 28 of Brian P. Johnson.
Yeah, Brian P. Johnson, this is the closest he's been so far, Sam, but I don't think he's going to have the runoff. The 3 of Ryan Kelly's going to have the run off the corner there as they go down the back stretch, down into turn 3. Brian P. Johnson going to try to get on the inside.
Trying it once again, but if you want the defensive line to hold your position, the outer lane is where you need to be, and that's where Kelly has defended all night long. And across the line, that lap still goes to Kelly. 25 thousandths of a second goes to that of the 28 machine. But also behind, battling for 3rd, Larry Yingling and Ben Nelson getting a little bit too frisky as Kelly holds off again. And once again, the big number that Kelly is looking for, at least get to the halfway zone, lead the most laps, and don't allow Ben to lead a lap at all.
Yeah, absolutely. That, he's got his checklist that you've talked about, Sam, coming into the night. He started on the pole. Doesn't get a point for that, I don't believe, but gets a bonus point for leading a lap. Now the Nets is the most laps. If he can get that, then he can solely focus on just trying to keep the 79 behind him. Don't let the 79 lead a lap, and then go win the race.
Those are the markings for Ryan Kelly, the driver that almost didn't make the playoffs itself to win the championship. He won a race earlier in the season that placed this 3 machine in a position to even make it into the playoffs. He won all the way back at Atlanta to start in the first couple of races in the season, but then took a couple of weeks off. Missed out on races that were crucial points-wise, and put the pressure in the last 3 races of the season to try to make sure that he was in a spot to even run for a championship. Well, have his championship contenders fight behind as the other 3 wide, battling for 3rd place. But that's not for the lead. The 3 is up there just feeling comfortable.
Yeah, he's doing everything he needs to so far, Sam. But if I'm Ben Nelson right now, Sam, I am not feeling comfortable. On the outside of the three wide. We've talked
Whoa!
just like that. Perfect example. We've talked about Douglas Newbigin taking risks and driving not recklessly necessarily, but just on the edge. And you saw him have a big slide right there. We talked about a mistake that could take him out, Sam, and it could be something not of his own doing. He could just get caught up in something.
And that right there also was a good showing of the apron. The risk of going down there. Again, going down the apron, it cuts off the distance and allows you a couple of thousandths of a second by going down there. But the risk to get back on the racing surface, that transition from flat to slightly banked, can really unsettle the vehicle. Kelly, for that of Douglas Newbigin, luckily holds on, and a little bit of a slide off the exit of turn 2 for Yingling as they'll go side by side once again. This is battling for 4th, but Ryan Kelly, Ryan P. Johnson, they're gone. And for the 67, Larry Yingling, he's got to be careful. He's got a lot of drivers trying to get by.
Yeah, this is the first time, Sam, we've seen this kind of packed up toward the front of the field. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times, around the top 15 or so, but this is really the first time we're seeing, right around the top 5, top 10. These guys are all on top of each other here.
Drivers just not wanting to give up on tonight's race. Are these drivers up front as they continue to put the pressure on? You're seeing this grouping. This is the battle for 5th place. Christopher Norris, Larry Yingling, as Cody Reed's going to ship it down to the inside, and Larry is going backwards for the first time tonight. That's a phrase we haven't said. And then what a poor time to be saying it as we're about to cross the halfway marker. And the 67 put in a box you don't want to be in as he's almost squeezed up into the wall.
Yeah, this is definitely not a comfortable position for the 67 of Larry Yingling right now. He's got Cody Reed to his outside. He's got Nick Crawford tucked up right behind him on the outside. And, yeah, he's just – you can see him fighting it a little bit, Sam, and I'm sure he's not in a comfortable position right here.
Not at all. Cody Reed trying to hold the inside groove. Nick Crawford putting the pressure behind, and these are drivers that are friendly with one another when they're outside of the racetrack. But when we get on the racetrack, hey, that friendliness kind of goes out the window for some. The battling for 3rd place still rages as we've got Ben Nelson in the 79, the 7 of Douglas Newbigin continuing on their slight battles that happened last week at Homestead. But it's Ben with the slight wiggle. But that's the things that we always look for in this Gen 4 car that we've learned throughout this season. Those small little wiggles are showing signs that you still are trying to keep the speed off the exit of the corner. It's the big slides that we're more so concerned about.
Yeah, it's just all about car control, and these guys do it better than anyone, Sam. I mean, all season, they've got, had the experience of driving this car on multiple different tracks and several different mile and a halves. And, it's not a bad thing to have it hang out just a little bit as long as, right on the edge of control there.
As we fall back to watching Cedric Hunter, James Heater, these drivers battling for 9th position, and the gaggle of cars. This is just in the middle of the pack of drivers that's being led by 6th place runner of Larry Yingling. Yingling still holding back Nick Crawford. Cody Reed on the inside lane just can't get to a marker where he can try to get by the 67. Continues to stall out. It just seems like for Larry, he's being kind of the valve that's holding back this pack. Once he gets out of the way, maybe they can start surging forward, but Larry cannot afford to lose any ground. Came in tonight with just a 6-point behind bubble to Ben Nelson, 3 points off of Ryan Kelly, and with all the bonus points that Kelly's been accumulating throughout tonight, that 3 is in a comfortable zone where he is about to be in a spot to almost tie Ben Nelson, and this race could turn into, I just have to finish ahead of this 79.
Yeah, the 67 is struggling right here, Sam, and we're right around, again, I don't want to jinx it, but we're right around that lap time, a couple more laps, and where we've seen our 2 incidents so far, Sam, and it just seems like right around that 20 to 25 lap mark, we see these guys just really jump on top of each other, and that's where we see the issues so far tonight.
I mean, at this point, we just got to say with our chest, 25 to 30 laps into a run is when we've seen drivers really get in a precarious situation. And Larry is in the same pot of drivers that They aren't causing issues, but they've been around the issues. As we crossed over the halfway zone, Ryan Kelly's been up front all throughout this time. The 3 finishes this lap up front. He'll take that bonus point for leading the most laps. That's 2 bonus points. The last one on his list is to win the race. As we continue our sights on the 67 of Larry Yingling. Main reason why he's one of the 4 championship contenders racing here this evening, and he's going to be forced 3 wide with Kyle Heater on the inside, Cedric Hunter in the middle, and that 67 stuck on the outer groove.
Yeah, he is stuck, and he is continuing to slide back, Sam. But going back to Ryan Kelly, that's another check mark in his book, Sam. He's led the most laps now. Can he close it out and win this race? And by the way, still keep Benjamin Nelson from leading the lap.
Continues to fight forward, but they continue to just be in a sticky situation. And the 67 just going backwards, continuing to lose positions, and now back to 10th place, about to fall back to where he started here tonight. Other drivers that are further on back, they're just in a wait and cruise control. You got Tyler Dingler, Ken Campbell that was caught up in a wreck earlier on tonight, and as well going to be that of Noah Steele and James Kaufman, just surviving for now in tonight's race, as they are starting to see Ken Campbell closing in on the 19. Other drivers that are starting to close in with one another. Our top 4 are starting to get a little bit close to one another, and our leaders is Brian P. Johnson with another chance to fight for that a second for the lead position in second, as Ben Nelson pulls back Douglas Newbigging.
Yeah, at this point, you know, I think even though Ryan Kelly has led the most laps, Sam, he still is not going to be comfortable giving up that lead, because if you put yourself behind the leader, you know, it's just one more car you got to pass, obviously, to get back out front, and then it puts you right in the clutches of Benjamin Nelson. So I think you're going to see this 3 fight tooth and nail to try to keep this lead.
Trying to keep the lead position, and across the line, once again, it's that of Ryan Kelly leading the way. And it just felt, when you looked at the way the playoffs were running down, Ryan Kelly and Ben Nelson really were the top dogs of the season. At moments, you saw Larry Yingling starting to get back to his pace. Douglas Newbigging was always a threat in the background of chances. Ryan Kelly, man, when he's been out on track, you just always knew he was a driver to watch out for a chance to get into victory lane. As we're 81 laps in the book, the front half looking pretty smooth. A couple of battles here or there. But it's the middle of the pack that really is just keeping us away from feeling comfortable going to step away to a commercial break, because they are getting still feisty back around 9th and 10th position.
Well, and we'll throw one more variable into this equation, Sam. You know, I don't believe these guys are going to be able to make it on, let's see, I guess it would be 2 more stops? Or one more stop?
One more.
Yeah, one more stop. You know, we were talking when we went to our first commercial break about, you know, how far these guys can go on fuel. And, you know, interesting to see if someone might try it, Sam. Someone that is absolutely in a must-win position. I don't know if they can save enough, but might be something to keep an eye on.
And one of those drivers, maybe it could be Larry. Is Larry making that audible call on why he's dropping back? Try not to, you know, minimize the amount of time that he's losing, but going for that strategy call of giving up time to maybe make that strategy audible call of saving fuel, turn this race into a 1-stop instead of a 2-stop, kind of a split this session. You know, go as far as you can on this run, and then split the next spot, next pit stop in half to the final run. A lot of different questions on how you want to make these final stops as the 3 and the 28 still fight on. But Ryan Kelly, I mean, he's just placing himself right on that top seam, and he's been looking smooth, confident, and we have not seen a mistake yet from Kelly at this moment.
We haven't, and as he's continuing to hold the lead, it's Douglas Newbigging who's starting to make his way forward as he's putting Benjamin Nelson under pressure, trying to get that 3rd position away from the 79.
Trying to get by that of Ben Nelson, and currently it is all the 79 outside lane. Just looks like if you place your car there, the inside driver just can't get the run off the corner that they need, can't carry the same momentum, and the speed is lost. And Once again, you see that Douglas Newbegin poking the nose, trying to get down low, but just cannot advance forward in positioning. As we're going to fall back to 6th place, you got Nick Crawford, Zach Hall, Cedric Hunter. Those 3 drivers were in the thick of things, of the drivers that were just out inside and outside of our top 10. Well, they've been able to break away, get by that chaos, and now having their own race of just around one another, but trying to be respectful at this time.
Yeah, really good job by those three drivers to be patient and work their way through that cluster, Sam. I mean, we saw guys running 3 wide for several laps all together, and they were right in the middle of it. So good job to those guys to get through that and starting to move up the leaderboard here.
That they are, as we are closing in to that 100 lap marker. Looking like we're at a spot where we are a little bit more calm. So we are actually going to talk about some of the sponsors and a little bit more in depth. We kind of did a quick breeze by on what the sponsors the WSSR have as Cody Reed gets a little bit out of shape, but the major sponsors that have helped out for season 7, I'm so thankful to have them. Roasted Gems Coffee. Roasted Gems Coffee has a wide range of different flavored coffees that you can try out, from very aggressive blends to those that are just trying to help you wake up with your caffeinated blends. They've got you plenty of different flavors, quality to get you started on your day on the right side. Go over to roastedgemscoffee.com. Go use the promo code WSSR for 5% off. Thank you so much to Roasted Gems Coffee for being the title sponsor these last couple of seasons, as well as we want to give a huge shout out to Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack is your one-stop shop if you would like to go get yourself some great trophies, from championship belts, rings, trophies, and more. Well, I'm wondering what's the more? The more is their Wall Smack. Wall Smack is a metal plate that you get to put your own custom image on. They come in various different sizes, as well as different ways to put them either on your wall or have a stand to show off your metal plate of its great image. The Wall Smack has been a way that drivers have showed off their winning vehicles when they win here either last season or this season. And if you'd like to get your own Wall Smack to show off your own glory days, go to trophysmack.com and use the promo code WSSR SMACK for 10% off. And also, for our qualifying sponsor, I want to say thank you to Colley's mom, who's been gracious enough for us to have a sponsor for qualifying, and we're so happy to have her on that board as one of our major sponsors. First driver to hit pit road, it's the 74 Nick Crawford. Extreme undercut, but that might be the winning call by the 74.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't think he's going to be able to go all the way from here, Sam, but yeah, why not split it up? Looks like he pit now and then maybe try to split the rest of the laps and pit at 120. So yeah, I mean, if you're just here to win, why not go for the 2-stop, maximize your time, get some fresh tires, and see what it can do for you.
Try to play a little bit of spoiler on Ryan Kelly's parade, as Ryan P. Johnson still fighting to the inside lane, not able to get into a position to attack for that spot, as another driver hitting pit road going to be Chris Stitz in the 17 machine. But man, how demoralizing is this, Josh? As a driver that's trying to make a pass, you know that maybe you feel like you're a little bit faster, but you know the fastest lane is the one the leader's running. You have to try something different. It just doesn't look like it's usable to make any passes this late in the run.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be in one sense, but I'm honestly really impressed with him, Sam, because I think it's harder to run the line he is, and I would almost be encouraged if I was Ryan P. Johnson, the fact that I'm able to hang with the 3 for this long. And I mean, if he keeps it up, I think he's going to have an opportunity to strike at some point. So,
whoa,
yeah, whoa, big wiggle right there by the leader. But yeah, Sam, I think as long as he stays with them, he's going to have an opportunity at some point.
We talked about Ryan Kelly hasn't really shown that many mistakes here tonight. That's the first little chink on the armor for the 3 machine. And we know once you get one big slide, it's more often than not that that sensation of looseness is just going to progress to feeling worse and worse. And the 3 machine still sticking to that outside groove, a little bit higher on the seam than he was before. And he's just getting closer and closer to that outside wall. Kelly is flirting with danger as other drivers have hit their box into pit road. James Heater, James Kaufman have also made their stops. Larry Yingling, the first of our championship drivers, has just hit pit road with Noah Steele. And now down to our front runners as Ryan Kelly's little slip-ups here and there. Brian Johnson not able to complete the pass. Here comes Ben Nelson, Douglas Newbigging. Ben Nelson, huge run. He'll throw it down the inside and almost was side by side with our front two.
Yeah, I think he thought just a second about 3 wide, Sam, but this is the first opportunity that I've really seen late in the run. This is the longest we've been green, Sam, and is the 3 car starting to struggle a little bit on the long run here. I mean, the 28 is right by his door, and don't look now, but here comes Benjamin Nelson.
And into pit road as well, going to be Nolan Hicks and Douglas Newbigging. So we're left with just Ryan Kelly, Brian P. Johnson that still need to hit pit road. And if you are running for Ryan Kelly, again, you cannot afford Ben Nelson to lead a lap, because if he does, and they finish 1-2 with Kelly winning the race, Ben Nelson would have the tiebreaker at that finish. And for Ryan Kelly, this is such a crucial moment. If he's got a driver in his ear informing him of that information, it would make sense on why he's still out on track, as Brian P. Johnson has entered pit road. Cedric Hunter has hit pit road. We're still waiting for a few other drivers to make their stop. But our top 2, this could be a championship move of the race if Ben Nelson can just lead 1 lap.
Yeah, the driver I'm going to have my sights on is Brian P. Johnson, who came in and took his tires right there. I think he might cycle to the lead, but this is a crucial moment right here, Sam. Just like you said, the 79, this is the closest he's been to the 3 all night. He's going to take it and look to the inside.
Looks to the inside. He's going to be to the quarter panel. Benjamin Nelson just wants to cross the line. He doesn't have to fully commit on the pass, but he goes for the slide job move. Fully pass, slides up in front of Ryan Kelly. Kelly's got to go with the dive bomb move to the inside. Ben Nelson has the lead across the line, and it's Kelly not able to hold back. Nelson leads a lap, and now for Ryan Kelly, he's got to win the race and hope Ben Nelson finishes 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, that's a huge moment in this race, Sam, where gosh, I mean, Benjamin Nelson, he's able to add an extra point right there. So I think that's going to take a heavy load off the 79, and it puts him in a position now where he can finish 2nd. And here he goes to pit, and both of them now.
Both into pit road. Both can't make mistakes, and it's Ben Nelson who's going to have the lead position. Watching for the black flags. There was a lot of wiggling for the 79, and both will be clear on their stops. But entering pit road, have to be careful for both these drivers. Ben Nelson's going to have the first stall, so he's a little bit to the right side. Kelly's going to be entering. Big mistakes for Nelson. Hurt him last week in Homestead for some moments. Kelly's got that first stall as they battle off the pit road. Who's going to have the lead position between these two, because the crucial times. But and also a note, Josh, these drivers did not even make it to the flat 45 of this run. They do need to make one more stop, as Nelson going to beat out Kelly off the pit road.
Yeah, both of them put themselves in a box now to where they're definitely going to have to make another stop. But when's that going to come, Sam? Are they going to try to split the stage? Are they going to try to run it long, short pit? I mean, it opens up a whole another realm of possibilities now for strategy.
And they've dropped so far down low that if a yellow flag was to come out now, it would be Douglas Newbigging in a better spot. Same for Larry Yingling. That would have some of those extra points of being ahead of those drivers if this race was to end now. So this race is still wide open on who could win tonight, as Brian with an eye Johnson leads the way, still pushing every lap. Again, he's been very much under the speed range that we've seen a lot of other drivers, but expected to be passed here very shortly by Nick Crawford, even before Brian with an eye Johnson comes into pit road. This 08 maybe aiming for the 1 stop, but not the call that I think is going to be the winning one with the raw pace and speed we've seen from some of the other drivers here this evening.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 2 stop is definitely going to be the way to go. As you can see, the 08 just going to concede the position, go ahead and drop on the apron. And now it's Nick Crawford that's going to cycle to the lead. He was our first one on pit road, Sam.
First one on the pit road with Brian P. Johnson, and the 28 machine is right on his tail. And these drivers, 6-lap difference on when they decide to come into pit road. It's the one of Brandon Colley again when we had a restart back around lap 57 tonight. Had a big wiggle off the exit of turn 2 that's put him in a situation where he is fighting to stay on the lead lap, but most likely with that pass there, Brian takes the lead. But Collie might be going a lot down here shortly. Douglas Newbigin, currently the highest runner of our Championship 4 contenders here this evening, in 3rd place. But he's got to be careful as Larry Yingling, as well as Nelson, Kelly, they're going to make the charge to run down this 7 machine as we will step away for our last commercial break of the evening. When we come back, expecting the final pit stop of the night, and who will take the Season 7 championship for the Freaky Fast Finale 250 here tonight at Chicagoland. We will be back right after this for the rest of Season 7.
They're 5 wide behind for fifth. Oh my, the 5 wide here. This ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here, coming off a 4. Look at these. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes.
I know, Carter gets wrecked. It's going to be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trying to dive it down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes. Cedric Hunter. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck it.
Oh, they wrecked. They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes in the 28. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series. It's the Season 7 Championship Race, Freaky Fast Finale 250 at Chicagoland. Currently, it's the 28 of Brian P. Johnson leading the way, trying to aim for a win here tonight. But our Championship 4 contenders out on track, being led by Douglas Newbigin, Ben Nelson, Ryan Kelly, and Larry Yingling, as they are scattered inside of our top 10. The 2 other of our Championship 6 drivers were not able to show up here tonight. Joshua Kanata dealing with some health issues that were unenabling him to show up here tonight. And Shane Tarian was not able to show up here this evening, did not feel comfortable as there was an active shooter going on in Maine that he felt like he didn't want to be racing And so he stepped away from tonight's race. Thoughts and prayers go out to that community in Maine that's dealing with a very scary and tragic situation. But as the drivers up front continue to race on, less than 40 laps to go. Thank you so much to all those that have joined in and watching this race as it continues to be a situation of, can anyone stop Ben Nelson? Is at this point, if the race was to end here, Nelson would be your Season 7 champion. And we were talking behind during the commercial break, myself and Joshua Altus, who's in the booth with me. And Josh, it looks like you said to me, this is a Ben Nelson type of a race.
It really is, Sam. I mean, he has been cool, calm, and collected the whole race. He allowed Ryan Kelly rather, to go out and lead the race and be Superman at the beginning, but we saw him catch the 3 machine right before that pit stop, was able to pass him and lead a lap, beat him off pit road, and he is pulled away from the 3 car now, and he is putting himself in position to hoist this championship trophy.
Yeah, and for Kelly, this is the first time that he's been stuck behind a pack of drivers and having to be in a spot where he's going to have to make some moves, as Nolan Hicks in the 86 currently runs in 6th place. 86 machine caught up in a couple of incidences earlier on, and luckily able to rebound from there. Also, we have the 31 of Kyle Heath. He's got Larry Yingling right behind, and Larry has had such a roller coaster of a night. Beginning of the first half of this race really was just a take off and go type of momentum for the 67. Found himself up inside of the top 5, but now has fallen back to the clutches of 8th place. And this is one of those races where Larry needed to do a lot. Same for Douglas Newbigging. The cards just are not laying in their favor unless something goes wrong and we get our caution flag here late.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about it, Sam. We're pretty certain that all of these drivers are going to have to make one more stop. So the question then lingers, when do you make that stop? Do you try to split the stage here, essentially, or split the stint and, do it equal on tires? If you're in a must-win situation, I feel like you have to stay out, right, Sam, and hope maybe a caution straights. And then that begs the other question, what do you do if you're Ben Nelson or Ryan Kelly? I mean, what's your strategy on that end? So, we're taking laps off here, but still a lot of questions need to be answered.
As that, we're watching the movement going on between the battling for 5th and 6th. Other drivers that are having some passes. That of Douglas Newbigging, no longer the lead championship driver, give the crown to Ben Nelson, as the 3 of Ryan Kelly tried his best to run down the 79 machine. Just looks to be too big of a mountain to climb for Ryan Kelly, but he continues to rip the top where he's been all night long. At this moment, just continues to try to find that little bit of inkling in extra speed. I gotta say, for Brian P. Johnson, who leads this race, I mean, what a end of the season run for himself, as Douglas Newbigging, close contact between himself and the 1 off the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with Brian P. Johnson and the 28 machine here, Sam. I mean, I've been looking at the lap times, and they're really starting to even out. I mean, Ben Nelson is still catching him a little bit, but he pitted about 3 laps before Benjamin Nelson on that last stop, Sam, and it allowed him to utilize his fresh tires and undercut those guys just enough to get out and have a pretty substantial lead. And it may be enough to where the tires are starting to even out now.
And as these drivers continue to race on, I mean, looking at Brian P. Johnson, look at the history books. Brian has been here since season 1, and he certainly is a driver that's trying to continue on his legacy. And the 28 wins here tonight, he would be tied with the most winnish driver in WSSR history with 17, tying himself with Vincent Sora, the 2-time champ, who was not able to show up for this season. But he certainly is going to be someone that continues to, we hope that one day maybe Sora will come back. But at this current time, Ben Nelson is the favorite running here this evening, as Douglas Newbigging continues to falter backwards. Ryan Kelly trying to get by, and it's all the 28 up front for now.
Yeah, that it is, Sam. I mean, he's doing what he's got to do tonight, and we're hearing Ryan Kelly might possibly have a little bit of damage, Sam. I don't know if he got in the wall at some point. We've been talking about him ripping the fence all night, and I wonder if he got up into it because looks like he's got a little damage on the side of that machine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that he grabbed some damage. He's been up there a lot, ripping the top, and it looked like he grabbed it back on a lap 112 for himself off the exit of turn 4. Just a bad bump, and away they go. And that's that high risk, high reward of ripping the top end as you find yourself going for all that you can, but you see that front right fender crinkled in just a little bit for the 3, and that's going to tighten up this car just a little bit more with that damage. And that's something that I think this 3 doesn't want off the exit of the corner.
Yeah, I mean, but at this point, Sam, like you said, he's got to lay it all out there. I mean, this is it. This is your whole season on the line here. We're under 30 laps to go here, so I mean, you've got to run where you think you can make the best speed, and if you know, it's a high risk, high reward scenario.
As the 7 and the 13 can have their little bit of a battle for 5th place. Cedric Hunter making the move on the outside lane. Douglas Newbigging, just the tires aren't there anymore, pitted sooner than everyone else. But again, we are not expecting these drivers to make it to the end. There is still a pit stop. We're expecting this field all to take before this race is over. There's already been a few drivers that have made that stop that are already a lap down. Larry Yingling being one of those who went with the extreme undercut, who's pitted 4 laps ago. Is that the right call to put the 67 in a position? Because if we go through a full pit cycle, then a caution flag comes out, Larry's back in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it very well could be, Sam, and it's going to be just interesting to see when these guys are going to come in. I mean, I'm looking at Nick Crawford pitted on lap 109. He was the first to kind of start the last sequence of events here, and it looks like the 79 of Ben Nelson, his time is now, Sam. He's coming to pit road.
And as well, it's going to be the 28 of Brian P. Johnson hitting pit road the same lap for both of those drivers. So there will be no just cat and mouse game between those two. And it gives the lead back to Ryan Kelly in the 3. And Kelly can't afford to lose too much ground. But like we talked about before, it's one of those things where you had to risk and gamble. Do you stay out and bank on a yellow flag that may give you a better chance to win tonight? Or do you pit and try to run this race just like you think it's going to stay green to the end?
I think at this point, Sam, his only shot is to stay out. I mean, Ben Nelson, the 28 car of Brian P. Johnson, they've already both hit pit road, so you're already at a tire disadvantage, even if it's just one lap on the undercut. So I think the 3 and the 7's best case scenario here is to just run it until they run out of fuel and hope they get that caution.
It was around 43 laps that the drivers were able to go for. The last time that Kelly hit pit road was back in '98. So it's looking to be around the 10 to go window is when Ryan Kelly's fuel is going to give out on the 3 machine. As we see Brian B. Johnson making his way forward. Benjamin Nelson going to be a few seconds back. And with this 28 trying to unlap himself, that's crucial for Johnson. Because when you're back on the lead lap, and if a caution would come out, that at least enables you to stay on the lead lap and with a fighting chance to get some of those positions. While the 79, on the other hand, still trying to get himself back on the lead lap at this current moment.
I think both drivers in both of their scenarios are making the right call, in my opinion, Sam. I mean, Benjamin Nelson is almost on defense now, to where he can be a little bit more conservative. I think that's a good call by him to go ahead and come in and get the tires and just assume this thing is going to run out and go green. I mean, he's only fallen back to the eighth position, and he's going to have fresher tires, and he's going to start continuing to make his way forward. So I love the call from the 79, and then I equally love the call for the 3 and the 7 being in the positions they are, Sam. Like they've got to do something different. If you just follow these guys, that's exactly what it's going to be. You're just going to continue to follow them all night. So you got to do the opposite and hope it works out.
Yeah, I mean, the famous saying, if you see what the leader's doing, you do the same exact thing. You're just following the leader. You're not going to advance forward in that standpoint. And looking at the numbers for Douglas Newbigging, who pitted last time on lap 94, and window is around 137 is the furthest the 7 can go. Lap 141 is the furthest that our leader Ryan Kelly can go before they're going to be forced into pit road. So they've got themselves 7 to 10 more laps where they need a caution. They want to be back in the fight for a championship. Otherwise, tonight could be done, and it could look to be Benjamin Nelson in a seat to win a championship if this pit cycle goes fully through.
Yeah, and I mean, we've talked about the trends in the past, Sam, and the mile and a half trats, and these guys are all spread out now, so I don't foresee any yellow happening. But with that being said, I mean, we've seen it before, Sam, where guys can get in the wall or get in trouble. The front bumpers and the back bumpers never align, so anything could happen here. So, this is it. This is for the championship. This is for the crown. You got to throw a Hail Mary at some point and hope something happens.
Trying to stay stable the best that they can. Thank you so much for joining with us for Season 7 of the WSSR Roast to Gems Cup Series. Benjamin Nelson driving through the 52 and the 17. Trying to continue forward is Ben Nelson up to 5th place on the board and trying to close in the gap to Brian P. Johnson, but that gap is now ballooned out to 4 seconds between those two. I think Johnson's in a good spot if this race stays green, that Brian P. Johnson can finally grab that win that he's been searching for this season. And for Ben Nelson, I don't think the pressure is in winning the race. It's just make sure he's ahead of the 3 of Ryan Kelly, who's defaulted into pit road. The 3, he's waving the white flag, I would say, at this point, and with this stop.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised he went ahead and came in right here, Sam. I mean, we were anticipating he could go a little bit further on fuel, and he stayed out so long. I'm kind of scratching my head a little bit that he decided to go ahead and come in right here. But to your point, it sounds like he's just kind of waving the white flag, and he's going to just try to make up as much ground as he can now.
As Cedric Hunter and Hicks close to one another as Reed gets out of the way. With us with less than 15, about to be less than 15 laps to go. Just want to do our last few shout outs to the major sponsors that helped out the WSSR for the Roasted Gems Cup Series, being the title sponsor. Roasted Gems coffee. They've got plenty of different coffee blends as well as merch line that you can check out on getting yourself some clothes as the fall and winter season right around the corner. Might as well get your merch for Roasted Gems Coffee today. Use the promo code WSSR for 5% off at purchase. And Trophy Smack. Well, with fantasy football in the swing of things, maybe you're looking for your championship trophy in fantasy football or maybe a different sport that's going on today. Well, Trophy Smack is your one-stop shop for many different championship trophies, from championship belts, rings, trophies, and more. WSSR has been using Trophy Smack the last few seasons to get championship rings for their champions. Well, this season, they're getting an actual trophy. It's on the line from Trophy Smack, completely customizable, and you can go get that with the promo code WSSR Smack for 10% off. And as well, thank you to Colley's mom for sponsoring our qualifying results. Josh, this is it, the final push with 15 laps to go. Who's getting the championship? Douglas Newbigging's just a handful or less laps before the 7's forced into pit road, and he'll hand off the lead to Brian P. Johnson.
Yeah, I think this is the last swing at it here for Douglas Newbigging, Sam. I mean, he's going to be forced to come to pit road here within the next couple laps, and again, I give him all the credit in the world. You got to do something different. He tried it. Unfortunately, it looks like it's not going to quite pan out, but what a job by Benjamin Nelson this whole season, Sam. He's won multiple races. He's done a phenomenal job. And then equally, big shout out to Brian P. Johnson. I know the race isn't over yet, but a man that's been fast. He's had success in the past, and what better way to close out the year than put in a victory lane if he's able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the most winningest drivers in the series still is searching for that win this season. We always expect to see Brian B. Johnson to be one of those drivers, as Douglas Newbigging has waving his white flag into pit road. It is the 7 machine and gifting the lead to Brian P. Johnson. Ben Nelson slots himself into second, Cedric Hunter into third, and the field looks to be set standard on where they feel the most comfortable, as Kyle Heath making the pass for 4th place over Nick Crawford, and 31 with his slightly fresher tires than Nick Crawford, feeling a lot more comfortable on making that pass. But looking at the drivers this season, counting tonight, 17 races in total. It's been an incredible rookie class that's joined in that really elevated every single driver when they came into this season. You didn't know who was going to win each race for majority of the season. I mean, all the drivers that won, it's crazy to think we had 10 different winners over 17 races. And I mean, over 16 races. We're about to maybe get our 11th different winner of the season if Brian P. Johnson gets the win here tonight.
Oh, it's just a testament to this league, Sam. I mean, and the talent that's out there. I mean, I feel like we talk about it every week, and you know, it's just really cool to see how competitive this league has become, and so many different guys have a chance to win every single week. And I mean, and guys like even Zach Hall, who weren't able to get a win this season. I mean, we know the talent of Zach and what he's done in other series in his career. And I mean, the man leading the race right now, Brian P. Johnson, the fact of how fast he's been this season, and he hasn't had a win. So I think it's just a testament, and it even more so for guys like Benjamin Nelson, who have been a multi-time winner and who's, you know, at this moment poised to lift the championship trophy, just how hard it has been to get in this position.
I also want to give a shout out, as you just saw pop up on screen with 10 to go, that being race control. Steve Benjamin has been running race control for the Full Send Racing drivers on Tuesday nights and as well moved over to help out on Wednesday nights here at WSSR. It has been a pleasure to find a race control, someone that's willing to put the time and effort to make sure a league runs smoothly so the admins aren't panicking. And it's been awesome to have Steve Benjamin also in coordination with us to have all the information pop up when drivers are penalized, how many laps are left in this race. And thank you for all the hard work that you did this season, Steve. As the racing continues on, it is all Brian P. Johnson with Benjamin Nelson in second. And this 28 machine searching for a win that just looked destined at times. But the call always was, would it be Ryan Kelly stealing the win? Could it be Douglas Newbigging? Would Ben Nelson grab another win? Tonight, Brian Johnson went with a smooth, stay out of trouble mentality. He was always there, putting the pressure on Ryan Kelly. And Kelly ultimately slipped up. Those slip-ups just grew to too big of a mountain to climb. And the 28 continues to fight with over 4 seconds ahead of Ben Nelson. And this 28 machine, what a great way to finish out the season with Trophy Smack on the car. And Ben Nelson right behind to try to close in the gap.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, that's the thing, Sam, is Brian P. Johnson, he didn't get into this position by strategy. He's gone up here and he's taken this thing tonight, Sam. I mean, he applied the pressure to Ryan Kelly all night. I mean, he was hanging on his inside. You were talking about, you know, the frustration maybe started to creep up with not being able to get by him, but I mean, he stayed right with them. And then I think the moment of the race was where he was able to come in and short pit those guys and get those fresh tires, get the clean air, and he has not looked back since then.
He really hasn't. The laps continue to tick away, soon to be dropped to 5 laps to go for Brian P. Johnson, the 28 machine, the Season 1 champ. About to be seen a new champion joining the crew of drivers that have won in the past. You had Brian win back in Season 1. Then it was the tear of Larry Yingling for 2 seasons, going back to back. After a year and a half of hiatus, the drivers decided for Season 4 to come back and put in a new season with a new car. And it was all Vincent Sora for 2 seasons going back to back. Then Larry decided to come back after a hiatus from racing. The 67, winner of the championship last season when he tried out the next gen car. But for Season 7, they tried out a brand new machine, and we've seen a bunch of new faces pop up. This rookie class, like I've snowed on, has been incredible. The 5 of the 6 drivers that made the championship round were rookie drivers. The only driver that came back and was a veteran of the series was Larry Yingling, the 3-time champ, just showing the caliber of drivers that have been here this season. And now 3 laps to go before Season 7 is done.
3 laps to go. That's all it is, Sam. And Brian Johnson, I mean, He's got the perfect pace right now. He's got no one near him, no lap cars near him, and he's done a phenomenal job tonight. So I know he's looking forward to seeing that white flag.
As they just keep on cruising around. So the closest battles on track is the battle for third place, but for Brian P. Johnson, 2 laps to go. He just knows, I need to cross the line one more time. Once we get the white flag, this race is official. No yellow will be thrown after that. And the 28 searching for his first win of season 7.
And as a driver, Sam, this lap is always the scariest one, in my opinion. Your heart is start beating a little bit. You start thinking about anything that could go wrong, and all you want to see right here is that white flag in the air.
And for Brian P. Johnson, exit of the corner. It is looking up to the flag stand, and there it is. White flag, your Roasted Gems Coffee white flag. Remember to use promo code WSSR for 5% off as the 28 rips it around the inside lane. And just a comfortable feeling for Johnson. There's no lap traffic in front. There's no competition behind. It's just run your own race for the 28. And Brian P. Johnson will be finding himself off the exit of turn 4. Comfortable, confident, back in the swing of things, and tie him back to the top spot in the history books. Brian P. Johnson is tied with the most winning driver of the season, but the driver that fought, climbed, defended for every race he could, Benjamin Nelson is your WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series Season 7 champion. And what a season it was. It's been talked about all throughout the playoffs. The monster has been awoken, and Ben Nelson showed his dominance, won 6 times this season, gonna be his 9th top 10, his 10th top 10 of the season. And Benjamin Nelson from Snowy Desert Racing finds himself being a champion for season 7. Congratulations to Ben. Congratulations to Brian Johnson. Josh, what a season. We got ourselves a winner and now a champion.
We sure do, Sam, and I think we're going to have some fun right here, maybe some dual burnouts here. So first and foremost, I want to congratulate Brian P. Johnson on the win. I mean, we talked about it, Sam, as these guys are going to have some fun with each other, burning it down on the front stretch. So well-deserved win for Brian P. Johnson, but the man who gets to celebrate the hardest tonight, it's Benjamin Nelson in the 79 machine, Sam, bringing it home runner-up in his first championship in this series, in the WSSR series. Absolutely phenomenal job by Benjamin Nelson.
I mean, Benjamin Nelson certainly has looked like the favorite coming into last week at Homestead. Coming into the night, he looked like he was one of the fastest drivers to watch out for. Didn't grab the win. That went to Brian P. Johnson, who also will grab the Rocket Man Award. But man, what a fight. Ryan Kelly, that whole is our first half of this race. The 3 did everything right, but it just fell short for Ryan Kelly to grab the championship. Douglas Newbegin, we got to say congratulations as well to the 7, to that of the 67 of Larry Yingling. Congratulations to those drivers, as well as Shane Tarian and Joshua Kanata for making the championship 6. But Benjamin Nelson wins the championship. Johnson wins the race. And for us, hey, we got the post-race show. Let's talk to these drivers right after this. When we come back, we'll talk to our top 3 and see how they're feeling after tonight's race. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series post-race show. The Season 7 championship has been crowned as we go down to the championship circle to talk to the 79 machine, who is your new champion of the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series, your Season 7 champion. We got the 79 of Ben Nelson with us. Ben, congratulations, all the hard work, all the wins, and you find yourself as a Season 7 champion. How are you feeling after this race?
Yes, that's how I'm feeling. Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh, I, I, I can't express it in words, but oh, that was a tough one. This car was a handful. Ryan is so freaking fast. I was really worried there at most of the race because he's lights out, dude. I don't know what happened, but I definitely had to take that from him. He wasn't gonna give it to me, but somehow I did it. I don't know, but I almost can't believe it with what happened earlier in the race. Just I didn't have the speed I wanted, so I don't know. You just got to stick with it, I guess.
Yeah, Ben, congratulations, man. It's been an absolute pleasure to cover your journey this season and watch you win these races, and now to ultimately hoist the biggest prize of the season in the championship. I mean, just walk me through your race a little bit, man. I mean, you started fourth. Ryan Kelly got the pole. You were chasing him most of the night, and then it looked like things started turn into your favor right before that next to last pit stop where you were able to catch him. I mean, how much were you just watching out your windshield, and did you have a goal of just trying to get by him to lead a lap to get the bonus point? And just, I mean, what were your thoughts all night?
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't racing Ryan so close in points, I think I would have pitted earlier on that run. But I needed to lead a lap, and I did eventually. But that put us sort of off strategy from everyone else. I didn't really care though, as long as I was close enough to the front. And I don't know how I did it, but somehow I got by Ryan. But I never thought I would. Looking at the speed he had, I never thought I was going to be able to catch him. We were also even for most of the race, so um, it was bizarre to me that that even happened. But we also raced each other onto pit road. That was pretty sick. I liked that. Um, that and just everyone was so respectful. Like we raced hard, but there was no real ill will toward anybody that I saw.
No, it looked very clean between all the championship drivers that were up front. I mean, Ben, coming into tonight, you only had a 3-point buffer to work with. What was that pressure like coming into tonight and knowing that if you had a small mistake, that could have been it for yourself?
Well, it was definitely I felt it. It was there. Um, it was obviously easier to be in a points advantage than a deficit, but it's honestly it's not really much easier though. Like when you're in the race, it feels just as hard to get through anything because your competition is really good. Like there's no way to undersell that. These guys are the real deal. So uh, I can't believe that I got as good of a finish as I did out of that race. It was amazing.
Well, Ben, congratulations again on this championship and finishing second here tonight. Before we officially let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any shoutouts that you have.
Yeah, first and foremost, I gotta have my heart go out to Shane with all the difficulties he's going with right now. His thoughts are with me. I mean, my thoughts are with him. Sorry, I'm beside myself with what's happened there, and my whole team's been so supportive of me. My family, my coworkers that are watching, you guys for the awesome broadcast, Steve Benjamin for the great admin work on the race control side of things, everyone that puts this league on together. It's amazing. It's absolutely awesome to be a part of this, and I can't wait to come back next year or next season.
Well, we cannot wait to have you back, Ben, for next year to defend for this championship. Again, your newest champion to join the ranks in the WSSR Cup Series. It is the 79, your Season 7 champion. Congratulations to Ben Nelson. Enjoy the off season and good luck defending this next season.
Thank you so much, guys.
Well, from the championship circle, we head to victory lane, where we get to talk to a driver that's been searching for this victory and now in the history books back to being tied on first in all times wins column. We got Brian P. Johnson with us. Brian, congratulations on the win. Man, how are you feeling after tonight's race? Because it felt like it was a whole season that finally came together for tonight.
Yeah, it did finally come together. It was a little bit late. It was about 3 races too late, but hey, that's okay. I was really worried that I was not gonna have a win this season, and it was gonna be the first season of a league in my iRacing career where I didn't have a win, as far as I know. I think that's correct. So I was like, well, definitely for WSSR. It's like, man, one more race. I want to win this thing because I don't want to have a whole season where I didn't win, and got it done. Um, yeah, it took 18 tries, but finally got it done. Um, so yeah, it was awesome. The car drove pretty well for me tonight. It kind of fit my driving style perfectly. Once I kind of figured out what lanes to work, Ryan Kelly was making that outside work really, really good, and you just couldn't pass on the inside. I stayed up, tucked up behind him for a whole run there, but, just kind of the way the pit strategy worked out, it worked out in my favor because after about 30 laps, I had no pace. So, just kinda made the pit strategy work to where, do a long run and then 2 short runs, and, at that point, I don't really care about saving tires. I don't care how hot they get or anything like that. It's just, you know, go as fast as you can, get the white flag before the caution comes out, and it worked out. And congratulations to Ben. He had one heck of a season, and but locked up that championship. So he's gonna have a cool trophy here in a few weeks.
Well, Brian, man, congratulations, man. Like I'll tell you the same thing I told Ben there. It's been an absolute pleasure coming on and covering y'all series and watching you guys compete every week. So I'm glad you were able to grab that win. I mean, you mentioned trying to keep that win streak alive. I mean, how much was that forefront of mind tonight, Brian? I mean, was it out of almost like a nervousness to try to keep it alive, or did you just come in here almost carefree and just brace your heart out and say, whatever happens, happens.
Well, we got about halfway through the season, and the first half of this season was not good for me at all. Got involved in a whole bunch of wrecks, and then I had some equipment malfunctions right after I built this PC, but then eventually did figure all of that out. So just a lot of bad races this season that usually I'm not really accustomed to. Usually I stay out of trouble most of the time. Um so kind of halfway through the season I was like, man, I'm behind, and then going into the playoffs with no bonus points. Hadn't done that before either. And it definitely hurt, trying to make it into the final round. Just didn't have any wiggle room, and there was a lot of wiggling going on, so didn't make it. And going into the final round, I was like, well, I know I have pace, I just can't make mistakes. And it worked out. Last week was a pretty good finish. It's like third or something like that, and then finished first here. So I was running up with the guys that were in the running for the championship. So that's exactly what I wanted to do, as well as winning a race this season. Keeping that streak alive. That wasn't really in the forefront. That was kind of like in the back burner. But I was like, man, it would suck if I couldn't pull that off. But able to make it work.
That you did. You made it work. Brian, going into season 8, I know that you and the admins are very quick on trying to get the season prepared. But what is the confidence level with tonight's win? And also seeing the competition that's trying to join the WSSR in next season, what is your feelings getting prepared for season 8?
Well, first off, for season 7, I mean, the competition level, that bar was raised very, very high. We've said it before, us admins on here, where this is where we wanted WSSR to be, where it's impressive for somebody to get a top 5, even a top 10, and that's where we're at right now. If you get a top 5, that's a really good finish. And for season 8, it's only going to get better. That competition level is going to go higher because now we all have a whole bunch of races under our belt with this car going into the season. Most everybody didn't run many laps with this car. Some people didn't run any. So this season was really about learning the car, learning what pit strategy is going to work, and as the season went on, everybody got better. So season 8 is I'm expecting that competition level to be even higher, which means that now that we have some real world data, real race data, as far as like pit strategies, what worked, what didn't work, how does the car react to running the top lane versus the bottom lane, what's brake bias. So now we can go into the off season, even though, we're going to be doing recruitment races, but we can go into the off season and really deep dive into this car and try to figure out, okay, well, where can I make up some ground? Because I definitely have a lot of work to do if I want to consistently finish in the top 3. So, but this car I think has performed very well this season. It's exactly what we wanted. It's a driver's car, and it worked out. Season 8, we just finished putting the schedule together. That'll be released either tomorrow or Friday. We're really excited about it, and I think next season is gonna be even better than this one.
Well, we cannot wait for season 8. Congratulations on how you ran during season 7, Brian, and good luck in the future. But before we officially let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout outs.
Well, first off, we came in here to our season finale tonight and got some bad news that one of our drivers, Shane Therian, he's going through a tragedy right now. Lost several loved ones of his in a in a tragic event. So um, definitely everyone here at WSSR gives our condolences to them. And the good thing about sim racing is that we are a community, and while we may not always get along on the track, off the track, we try to, come together and lift each other up. So for him right now, that's definitely what we got to do. Definitely thoughts and prayers out with him and his family right now. Um, that's one of the worst things you could go through today. Just a lot of bad stuff going around, and unfortunately, it's around him right now. So definitely thinking about him. But on a more lighter note, definitely gotta thank you guys for putting on a good broadcast as always the whole season. These races have been amazing to go back and watch. The broadcast is amazing, and it also helps when there's a really good on track product out there to show everybody. And speaking of showing stuff to everybody. Got to thank everybody for tuning in and watching this. We definitely greatly appreciate it. And like I said, season 8 is going to be even better. And then got to give a shout out to Roasted Jim's Coffee and Trophy Smack as always. Those two partners of ours here at WSSR. They help us out a ton. That big trophy that Ben Nelson's going to be getting in a few weeks is coming from Trophy Smack. Got to thank them for that. And we get to customize it and make it our own, and it's going to be pretty cool. So definitely keep a lookout on our social media for when that comes in, we can get a picture of it. I think it's going to look pretty cool. And yeah, got to thank all the drivers that came out tonight and throughout the season. Again, a league's not anything without its drivers, and all the other admins here. We've got a few changes to make in the off season. Not nothing big, but again, that's goes into that's another part of making season 8 even better than this season. And I'm gonna quit babbling and let y'all move on. So that's it.
It's all good, Brian. That is going to be your winner here tonight. Brian P. Johnson winning the Freaky Fast Finale 250. Congratulations on the win. We hope you can carry on the momentum into season 8. Enjoy the win and good luck, Brian.
Thanks, sir.
As we move on from our winner, we go down to third place finisher. As we had our champion, we also had our winner. We've got also Hello Kitty with Cedric Hunter. Cedric, certainly a race of a lot of chaos around you in the first half of this race. Man, what is it like coming away with third place after the wildness that Chicagoland gave you?
I mean, it feels pretty good. We have had a really rough season. This season, obviously, a lot more of a struggle than I would have expected coming into this season with new cars and everything. I felt like the whole field has improved, and we kind of didn't do that. So obviously, season A will be, um, you know, we're gonna have to learn and we're gonna have to improve. Obviously, tonight was a good step in that direction. Um, but considering, I mean, I think at the beginning of this race, I was probably like 16th, 17th on pace, and I really couldn't do anything. I was kind of one of the last place cars and couldn't figure it out. And, I want to give a shout out to Zach. He helped me out throughout the race. We kind of kept bouncing ideas off of each other as the runs would go on. And eventually kind of clicked on something, and him and I made our way through the field. And unfortunately, he got caught up or had a mistake on pit road that kind of set him back. But, I was able to capitalize with a good finish. So it kind of feels good. I mean, I think it's been close to 2 months since I've talked to you guys. So, with that being said, hey, how's it going? It's been a while.
Yeah, definitely good to hear from you again, Cedric. Finishing out the season strong with the podium finish. But I mean, you alluded to it a little bit. I mean, you qualified P16 tonight and struggled early. I mean, just talk to us about your march forward. And did you have I know it can be difficult when you're racing around the championship contenders. I mean, how do you kind of balance that with wanting to run your own race and get the best finish for you and your team possible, but also trying to be respectful and give room out there.
Yeah, luckily, I feel like I didn't have too much of an opportunity to race versus the guys that were competing with a championship. For the most part, they were up front for the majority of the race. Obviously, some of them played different strategies that kind of allowed me to jump them in positions. But I'll say like the big thing that kind of allowed me to advance through the field was just completely adjusting my driving style. I think I have like a pretty passive driving style when it comes to just like trying to save tires and manage my stuff, which works for the most part in like the next gen car. And unfortunately, well, I think I'm very one dimensional when it comes to just racing a car. I kind of race every single one of them the same, which obviously is not a great thing, and tweak that I'm gonna have to try and work on in the upcoming months. This car, like the only reason I had a big swing in pace from the beginning to the end of the race is I just started driving it way more aggressive. I would just go into the corner, full throttle, deeper than most guys, and just slam on the brakes and you know come to come to almost a dead stop in the center of the corner, and then just slammed on the gas on the exits, and that's what worked for me. I was able to make passes and drive through the field. I can't say that it necessarily drove super comfortable. It's definitely not the way I like to drive. So, we'll have to make an adjustment. Definitely does seem like the Gen 4 prefers to get, it likes to be driven aggressively. And that's just not what I'm accustomed to. So, like I said, we have some work to do going to season 8.
Well, Cedric, congratulations on a third place finish for yourself this season. You had some highs and lows throughout the season, but overall, excited to see what you're going to bring for season 8. Before we let you go, the floor is now yours. And any final thoughts you want to say about season 7?
Absolutely. I want to give a huge shout out to all the drivers that showed up throughout the season. I know it's definitely been our most competitive season. We've had the highest car count that we've had on average for across all 7 seasons. A league isn't what it is without its drivers. So I want to give a huge shout out to them. I want to give a shout out to Ben, obviously, for winning the championship. He was really, really quick. He capitalized. I mean, he really came into the playoffs and showed the speed that we knew he had. Obviously, he had a kind of a rough regular season, and he flipped the switch when he had to. So congrats to him. Good job to Brian on the win tonight. He definitely deserved it. He was by far the fastest driver. And I guess lastly too, I want to send my condolences over to Shane Terry. And I know there's a very unfortunate event that's going on in his in Maine right now, in his neck of the woods. So unfortunately, he lost a few people that were close to him. I want to say my condolences to him and his family and to everybody involved. Um, and Unfortunately, at the moment, based on what I'm hearing, is that the person that caused the whole situation is still at large. So hopefully, justice comes to him. Um, and yeah, and you know, hopefully, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just my condolences. And yeah, I will stop rambling and I'll just end it here. So thank you to you guys also in the broadcast booth for doing everything you guys do on a weekly basis. Um, I know it's been an up and down season. We've had some really good races and some kind of mediocre ones. Um, and I think going into season 8, it'll be even better.
And we're excited for season 8, and it's okay for rambling, Cedric. It's a situation I don't think anyone could have the right words to say what's going on in Maine. But thank you so much for joining up with us up at the booth. That is going to be your third place finisher, Cedric Hunter. Cedric, the good season for yourself. I hope it carries forward on it getting even better into season 8, and enjoy your off season.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
As we move on from our interviews, we got ourselves prepared to take a look at the unofficial results for these drivers here tonight. They ran 150 laps, had a couple of cautions in the middle of this race and in the beginning, but ultimately it went clean and green at the end when it really mattered the most. When strategy came down to the end, it was Brian P. Johnson taking the win for himself. Second place just did enough to get himself the championship. It was Benjamin Nelson in second. Cedric Hunter coming away in third. Fourth goes to Kyle Heath, one of his best finishes of the season for the 31. Nolan Hicks getting a top 5 finish for the 86 after being spun around earlier on. That of Ryan Kelly could have finished 6th, just not enough positions or time for the 3 machine to come back into this race. With Larry Yingling 7th, again another championship contender, just not enough. Nick Crawford in 8th. 9th is Zach Hall and Douglas Newbigin. The final of our 4 drivers are able to show up here tonight. Gonna finish out our top 10.
And continuing down the leaderboard here, Sam, finishing just outside the top 10 will be Christopher Norris. We saw him running toward the bad tonight, so good recovery for the 38, finishing P11. Chris Stitz will finish 12th. Tyler Dingler finishes 13th. James Heater finishes 14th. James Kaufman will finish 15th. Brandon Collar, we saw him have a really big moment, Sam. He was able to catch it and keep it from the caution coming out there. He's going to recover to finish 16th. Cody Reed will finish 17th. Ken Campbell, also involved in one of those incidents, finish 18th. Brian With an Eye Johnson finishes 19th. And then rounding out the end of the field here, Noah Steele and Brian Noel 21st. We saw those two tangle late, and unfortunately we're done for the night after that.
And luckily we got to have 21 drivers here this evening for a championship race where we got to crown a brand new champion. Joining the mix of Brian P. Johnson, Vincent Sora, and Larry Yingling. Joining in is Benjamin Nelson, being the 4th different champion of the WSSR Cup Series over 7 seasons. Congratulations to Ben and the whole entire Snowy Desert Racing team, as they also took the team championship. They clinched that a few races ago, but congratulations to that team as a whole. And Josh, obviously a crazy season 7. It was a pleasure to have you up in the booth. Any final thoughts before we call it a night here at Chicagoland?
Yeah, first and foremost, Sam, I want to just give a huge shout out to you and Robert Moyer Jr. at Freaky Fast. I mean, this was something that was definitely a little new for me this year, so I really appreciate the opportunity to come on board and join a little late through the season. But thank you, Sam, for kind of taking me under your wing and teaching me how to do this, and Robert Moyer Jr. and everyone at Freaky Fast. It's just been a pleasure to join the family, and I hope to continue my career in this and continue to grow. So just want to get that out of the way first. But yeah, I mean, just to wrap up the season, Sam, I mean, it's just phenomenal. A lot of talent out there. We had 11 different winners, I think, now throughout the season, and Benjamin Nelson, I mean, what else can you say about him? I mean, he did everything he had to do this season. He won multiple times, put himself in the right position, and he really set himself up last week, winning that race at Homestead, dominated, and came in here tonight. Didn't quite win the race, but came away with a strong runner-up finish and was able to take home the big prize.
Took away the big prize. Champion for season 7 is the driver that you see on screen, the 79 of Benjamin Nelson. Thank you so much to everyone that joined with us here this evening and throughout the whole entire season on Wednesday nights for the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series for season 7. We will be back hopefully for 2023 for more racing coverage on Wednesday nights, as we will be moving now to just 2 races a week before the full Sen Racing Series and Stars and Stripes are done, that's going to be our next broadcast is tomorrow night. Stars and Stripes Racing Series. Usually I would do an ending talking about, our next race. Can't wait for it. It's going to be our next Freaky Fast broadcast, but I'm going to end it off with something a lot more simpler for myself, Sam Dyer, for that of Joshua Altus, for Robert Moyer Jr. Tonight, tragedy hit Maine, and for Shane and everyone out there, just go hug your loved ones, say that you love them and you care for them, because you never know when a tragedy like this is going to happen. We hate that this happened to Maine. And for all those around, thank you for being with us. Congratulations to Benjamin Nelson. But go love your loved ones, and we will see you in our next Freaky Fast broadcast.